Welcome back, everybody, to The Last of Us Episode 6 with Terrell TV as we talk about the next episode in the installment that you guys all love and hate at the same time. How have you been? Have you been waiting for this episode? Did you know this was coming? I know we've talked about this over the last couple episodes about, kind of comparing your knowledge to the game, my knowledge to the game, and what you remember here. I have been looking forward to this for quite some time. Did you have any knowledge of like what was going on in this episode, like what was coming in this episode? Or I mean, I know you said a preview, but were you pretty excited, like of overall, like what you got here?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Like, I did play some of the game, and I do know there was some flashback scenes in the game as well. And I do know like these specific flashback scenes, like her birthday and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So it was really cute to see. So yeah, I was really excited, and I was really excited to see Pedro again, and seeing their whole dynamic and
right.
the stuff that we were missing. So, and
Can't
it,
get enough.
it made it sad. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So it was really good.
I honestly, with some actors where I feel like you get tired of them rather quickly. I don't feel like I can get enough Pedro, man. He's
No.
so diverse in like the roles and his range, like and what
Yeah.
he can do. Like we've seen him do action, we've seen him do heavy drama. We're seeing him do this. We've seen him in so many different things. Like I said, where his range is unlimited, so I can see why he is so used so often. Versus like actors like The Rock or other
Mhm.
movie stars that you just like, okay, we need to take a break. I think like, it's too many movies. Like what I mean, I don't think I'm getting. I'm getting the feeling with Pedro so far. Because
Yeah.
the last like what 2 to 5 years, like he's been raking in the roles.
He's
Um,
employed.
yeah,
he's taking that money.
like Pedro, you want to play a white guy? Yeah.
Yeah, bring him on. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go ahead and give me that. Yeah, so one of the movies I wanted to see with him in it was the movie with Nicolas Cage. That just came out where like Nicolas Cage is like playing himself, and Pedro Pascal was like a rich like mega.
Isn't he like a prince or I think he's like a president or so? That's what I thought it was.
It's like
Some
something
country.
like massive talent or something. Like, but it's been on my list for quite some time. So I
Yeah.
definitely want to go watch that. Get more Pedro in my life.
That's a very famous TikTok, that movie that you're talking about with Pedro Pascal in it, where he's just like smiling and looking at him. Like,
I don't even think I've seen it.
I gotta send it to you. I'll
Yeah,
send it to you. It's so funny. It makes me
So
laugh all the time.
we were like weeks into this now. We got into the episode that I'm gonna personally say this is my overall favorite of the entire season so far.
Same.
Not for the action or whatever, but just for the like I said, the level of range from both actors. What was your feelings in the episode? Like what did you think before we get into like the beat for beat for it?
Yeah, I agree. I really think that this is probably one of my favorites. I really like character building episodes, and
Yeah.
I really like that we get to see, some of their relationship, before things happened and stuff like that, before all the negative stuff happened, and you kind of like got to see how we ended up at that point. And it is pretty nice to see, because I feel like with season 1, you really didn't get to see a lot of like normal moments, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they're trying
pretty
to
dark.
survive the apocalypse, like the zombie things and whatever. So it's not like there's a lot of like sweet moments or nice moments. There was some, but not like a lot. And then especially now in this season, we didn't get a lot of that at all until this episode. So it was good to see some of their moments together before shit went down. So it was cool.
Yeah. Get a little bit of levity, get a little bit of show a little bit more of the love between the characters, how that, like you said, how that relationship has changed since arriving in Jackson, and and gives you, kind of puts you up to speed of where Ellie is in her mind. You know what I mean? Like, and where she is at that point when we see her last episode, when we confirm and she's taking down Tati Gabrielle's character that she already knew. You know what I mean? Now, because I think it was kind of vague, like does she know because she just had a suspicion, but now we know she knows because she actually knows. You know what I mean? So I did like that. I just wish this episode had happened. You know what? Thinking about it now, I said before I wish it had happened earlier. I don't think it would have had the same level of impact. I just wish. I wish the show, and I've said this before, had built up more of the situation with Joel. And I think it suffers because we don't see the relationship build between Ellie and Joel over the course. Like I said, it literally happens episode 2. Joel's dead, and then it's like, okay, now we're on the Ellie and Dina story, and her half Asian baby.
Yeah.
With I forgot what his name is, Jesse. So everybody's the dad now.
Everybody.
I've seen the memes. You people are mean, but but some of them were pretty clever. But yeah, like I said, I really like episode 6. It's like so much to talk about here. But like I said, I've been waiting all week to get into this with you. Let's get into it, I guess. So the episode 6 of The Last of Us season 2 starts off, and we get a bit of what we assume, and we now, of course, we know is a flashback of young Tommy and young Joel. We see that Joel is the protector. You already kind of get that sense of his character already, from how he is with Ellie and everybody else, how he was with his daughter early on in the show. He's always had this, I don't want to say sense of heroism, but that sense of like, okay, you got to do what you got to do. And we get a little bit of that with just seeing him like step up to protect his brother, because like, oh man, dad's coming home. I'm gonna take the L for you. Go ahead and go to the room. I'm gonna say I did it. And then before I even move on to that dad casting for Joel and Tommy, were you buying it, or did you?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I think I could buy it. I did like that they made the dad kind of like look a little like Hispanic, so that was pretty cool.
Like he had a little bit of brown. And I see that actor in everything too. I have no idea what his name is.
Yeah.
I feel like I tried to look it up, and I'm like, does anybody like? I feel like it's one of those actors that's like really good that nobody can tell you what their name is if they had a gun to their head, if they were on a game show. Like that's one of the situations. But no. We get a sense of that character, and the reason I brought that up is because I'm like such a stickler with when it comes to casting like childhood versions of characters, and you're like, you know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes it kind of throws you off for the rest of the show.
Yeah. I think it was good.
Yeah.
I think you're delayed.
Because even Tommy, like, if you see what's his name, Luna, think of his name. It's Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh my goodness.
I haven't seen that show in so long.
I've said it like 15 times as we've done these. I'm gonna come back. But anyway,
Shield.
He comes back in, and like I said, either way, the casting was, like you said, was spot on. But then we get more of the history of Joel and Tommy, because we really don't get too much of them, because we kind of go from present to future, but we don't really get their past. I feel like this is the first time that we really see any of past Joel. And I feel like I would have to go back through season 1 to really give you an accurate answer on that. But as far as a cop, as we find out, no, I feel like it's like we get Ellie, we get just about everybody else, or we'll get time when it was like the present, that 2013 with Joel and his daughter. But we've never gone back that far. You know what I mean? To kind of see, So like I said, we get the scene with dad. His dad's a cop coming home, interrogates Joel, and Joel of course steps up to the plate, takes the bullet. Dad already knows what's up. Joel's like, look, you're not gonna keep hitting my brother. I'm gonna take the hit, let it be me. And his father kind of breaks down, which I thought was really great. I thought it was a really good scene, mainly to like your father like kind of explaining like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. because this XYZ. I feel like most parents don't really give you too much of a backstory on like why they're an asshole, like, you know what I mean, or why they are the way they are. Oh yeah, my dad, he cheated on my mother, so I had to do it too. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I feel like you really get too much like which parents, but it was cool to kind of get him to really talk to him, and I feel like he really like absorbed that story, because we get the story of his father like, hey, my dad was beating my ass, like, damn near killed me. I'm not hitting you that hard.
Punched.
You know what I mean?
He punched him.
I'm not hitting you and your brother that hard. So
Mm-hmm.
and we have the ongoing thing where I would hope that you do better than, or a little bit better than I did. You know what I mean? Like that's all you could do as a parent is you hoping, you say you want to be better than them, but then you kind of fall into the trappings, or you fall into certain behaviors that your parents did. Maybe they drank, maybe they hit you, maybe they was, like I said, they were cheating. But you try to avoid that so much that you ultimately do fall back into that pit.
Yeah, and that's interesting too. I think that's definitely the theme of this episode entirely.
Oh yeah.
It starts off with him saying you do better than me, and it ends off with him saying the same thing to Ellie.
Yeah.
Too, which we'll get to.
Yeah, they did a really, really good job. Like I said, I really like that they give this sense, build a little bit more towards Joel, so we can kind of see why he is. You know what I mean? Like, because like I said, we don't get a lot of the backstory. We don't get too much information on Joel outside of this particular era of him, and then of course his interaction with his brother and his daughter. But yeah, I thought because like I said, that just builds up the entire theme. And this is only like the first few minutes of the episode, and like I said, this is overall, like, it builds so much of why you understand why.
Yeah.
And then we get the flashback to Joel. We come back to the point where Joel and Ellie kind of first get to Jackson. It's the first year it's the first couple months of them being there, and of course Joel already knows what Ellie's birthday is. And before I even go further, you already know from what Joel did when he killed the Fireflies and the doctors how far and how he feels about Ellie. Yeah. Right? Like, you see that switch. Like, is he? And I don't think. I mean, you could pretty much say like Joel has like replaced Sarah, his daughter, with Ellie. And,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You see that 100%. Whereas though Ellie was born into this world, she didn't have parents.
Yeah, no father figure.
Was already gone. So she already has this attitude about people trying to be a parent. Then she's pretty much had to survive this, and Joel has to also accept that this is not his daughter. You know what I mean? Like, this is somebody that he has built this relationship with over this course of years. But of course, he's replaced that love, not replaced it, but brought her in the same level of love he had with his
surrogate daughter, type thing. Yeah.
But we get Joel making a trade to get something for Ellie's birthday. We find out he's trying to get a cake, and apparently a cake takes about 5 days, and a post-apocalyptic terms. Times.
That makes sense.
And he is also in the process of building her a guitar, with one of her designs on the guitar.
Which is really cute. That's a really nice gift.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, because we get so much time with them built up here, like the little things as you see, like him making the effort, him basically, and I can't confirm this, trying to move on from that situation and kind of make her forget by showing her that your life is basically worth living, like trying to give more things to that, because as we know, Ellie was supposed to be the promised child, the one that was going to save the world. And as I said before, I think that Ellie has a sense like she shouldn't be alive. She feels like she's being selfish for everything. And as we see Ellie, Joel make the effort of kind of trying to mind wipe her from something she already has a strange confession of, because we have various moments throughout the show where she just kind of pauses and is like, I want to say something about this. You know what I mean? I want to add. And
she knows.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely knows. And after we get the Joel during the birthday party, we see Joel making the guitar. Joel, we see, get a little bit more again of Joel's trade, his level of craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Because I believe he had like a construction company or something like that, or
I think
like
so.
beforehand. Yeah, so he already has like this experience with building things, as we know, because he's working on the wall and stuff like that for the town.
Mm-hmm.
But he takes the time to build this out of like basically spare parts to like rebuild an entire guitar, which I'm like, man, that's not easy to do.
No.
Further again, showing the love that he has for Ellie, because you ain't doing that for nobody.
Nope.
And then of course, gives her the guitar, and before, well, hold on, maybe I feel like I'm jumping out of that, right? Like, so Joel giving her the guitar. This is after she had
Well,
came home drunk.
yeah, and she burnt her arm.
Right, because we first see like the first time she does this to hide the bites, so that
Mm-hmm.
she's basically can live a normal life. She doesn't hide it, because now she basically can't say anything to anybody. Like, this still has to be a secret, even
Yeah.
around I think I've got a few people know about this.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I
sure
think
Tommy
maybe
knows.
only
I don't know if
Tommy
his wife
knows.
knows. Yeah, I don't know if his wife knows.
Probably not. I
Okay.
feel like that could be hard to explain.
Yeah,
Maybe.
because you would have to show proof somehow, some way. Like, hey,
Yeah.
go ahead and get your bit real quick. But yeah, I just thought the whole scene with her getting burnt or burning her arm so she can pretty much live a normal life. And you definitely feel like the emotion in that for sure. You think you could burn away a zombie bite on your arm? Like you go ahead and just and try to hide that, like, because
I don't
clearly it hurt. And with
I don't
limited
think you
resources, you
could
basically
burn
know
it
how
away. I don't think you could
to.
burn it away, but I think you could maybe make your arm disfigured enough so maybe you
Right.
can't see it.
You can blend it a little bit so it doesn't, like you said, like doesn't look as obvious. No teeth mark.
Yeah.
And she just start
Yeah.
knocking the teeth out these things, man.
Right?
But so after the burn, Joel's pissed off. She's drunk. We get Joel, who sings a song for Ellie after refusing to sing. And I
Oh,
wrote down this is a touching moment.
it is very touching. It was very cute. And I like that, like, because, like, that he kind of, like, spoke sing a little bit, because
Yeah,
probably Pedro Pascal's not, like, a singer, but I do like
fool
that they
me.
did it. Huh?
So you could fool me if he wasn't actually a singer at this point.
Yeah.
He can dance, he can sing. Come on, like,
Right? Well, I like that they made it like him speak singing. Like, it's not like they dubbed him or anything like that. It felt a little
right,
bit more like real, Yeah.
right.
And I
Felt
dug that.
more personal.
Yeah. Yeah,
You could,
definitely.
and you could tell this is probably something that Joel probably did for his daughter. And
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, that probably was why there was a moment of hesitation where she was like, he's like, sing for me. He's like, I don't know. It's my
Yeah.
birthday. Come on. Like
Yeah,
this,
I thought
you tell,
that
like,
the whole thing was cute.
yeah. You definitely can't get enough of that. Like, and it sucks because he's dead, and we're not gonna get any more after this.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like you get little sprinkles of Joel like further into the thing, like kind of further, whatever. But yeah, it sucks. Um, and then we, after that, we kind of fast forward a little bit more time. I think what's about another year later. Ellie is about 14 or 15, maybe
Yeah.
16.
No, is this the spaceship one? Because if it is,
Yeah,
then it's
they're going to the
16.
museum.
Yeah,
Um,
16, yeah.
and I'm like, oh man, I'm so happy because like this is a scene that was actually in the game, and you actually get to
Yeah.
interact with like all the characters. You take your time with it. They had this pretty well done, and that was something that I wanted to ask you about. Like, I mean, like I said, I don't know if you've seen the cutscene or if you got to that point. Did you did you really like the scene? And do you think
I
it did a
did.
good job compared to the game?
Yeah, I did. I did like it, and I think they did follow everything pretty closely to the game. It's
Yeah,
also one of my favorite parts of the game because it's that bit of quietness
yeah,
that you get between all the insanity of shooting things and stuff like that. So I definitely enjoyed that, and I thought they followed it pretty closely. I thought it was very cute, very good.
You're right. You're definitely right. I think that is some of my favorite parts of the game too. Is when you're not holding the gun, um, or like
Yeah.
when you're just kind of out and exploring. You don't have to, have that sense of fear of getting jumped by one of these infected people,
Mm-hmm.
or just like the in-house conversations, like doing like when you're on the road and like the back and forth banter. And the playfulness, like I really like those scenes, like getting to those points to see more of the character's character, and like what the relationship is, because like when Ellie and Joel first meet, it's not on that level of father daughter, but they spent a long time like on the journey because they're taking this
Yeah.
basically by foot, so they're together for a long time, during that first part of the show. Um, so it's just this whole scene right here, like of them going to the museum. Um, First of all, like Ellie's complete like lack of just first time experience for everything. First time seeing a dinosaur, because again they're born into this like nobody was able to,
Yeah.
So like going into this museum, like everything's new. I think everything's exciting. I thought this was cool, like letting this be her first time experience, and even though she is old as she is, she seems like she's even younger to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I got that vibe very much that she seems younger. But I
Everything's cool.
yeah, but it's like it's they never seen this stuff before. So it's
Mm.
like, you would still have like that childlike wonder to half of this
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
You
So
think we'll
it's
ever?
good.
You think we'll ever get that back, or you think like watching this, like playing like games, like you feel like you still have that sense of, it's not nostalgia, but like put you in like that state of not feeling like an adult for 2 seconds.
Oh yeah. I
Okay.
definitely feel like I have that sometimes. Like when you play something or you see something, like you just get that vibe back. I definitely feel like that. You definitely need those like moments of like where you have to have like that childlike comfort to
Right.
make you sane in this insane world.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. Like I said, to that. Um,
Yeah, because I feel like that's why a lot of people like things like this, like video games or
yeah.
any type of fandom, because it always just brings you back to that childhood.
So many adults that do toys now, like as an adult, or buy things like that they couldn't get as a kid, like get indulging in that stuff. Like, so yeah, you're absolutely right. Like I say, going to a museum, aquariums, like everybody has that thing, and I'm glad that Ellie on her 16th birthday got to experience that. Somehow Joel, hands her, gives her a mixtape, because they break the glass, they get the helmet out of it, and then go into space. No, I'm sorry, they not go into space, but like simulate the space mission.
Yeah, the
um,
Apollo 15, 1971.
how do you get the tape?
That I wonder too.
He's like,
I
yeah,
mean,
it's really hard to find it.
maybe it's in the museum.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. As I was like, I'm like, who did you get this from? Like, because you're only going but so far, or
Yeah,
exploration and stuff like that. So
I
that's
wonder.
I I thought that was interesting that he was able to find that specific thing. Like, I mean, again, showing the level of effort for Ellie and
Yeah.
what he's going to do to not only make her happy, but slightly push her away from that situation. And even with this, again, Ellie has a moment where it's like, oh man, here we go. Like, it's stuff that reminds her of the moment and wants to say something to Joel. And we see the struggle kind of
Yeah.
between last year and then this year.
Mhm.
But I'm glad they really got this scene pretty much down packed. Uh, we jump to Ellie's next birthday, where again Joel's coming in with the cake, walks in on Ellie with another woman.
Yeah.
And he's freaking out again, giving dad vibes.
Yeah.
You
Very
know,
much dad vibes. Yeah.
Ellie is going through pretty much the teenage behavior at this point. Weed in the room, girls. Like.
Tattoos.
Uh, Now, speaking of the tattoo, um Ellie's friend, whatever they were, a tattoo. They were doing a tattoo over where Ellie had burned herself. Kind of further explaining like, hey, I get why you did what you did. Like you want to cover up the tattoo, you kind of want to move away from this. And we kind of see like, I don't know, like Joel kind of. Do you start this? This is where we start that distance between Ellie and Joel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is
Like
when it starts.
slightly after this, Ellie is like, "Yeah, I want to move into the garage." It's like, no, like
Yeah.
it's cold outside. Let me get that fixed up for you first. And I wonder, like, was it Ellie because Joel was pushing into a role that she wasn't used to, or the fact that he wasn't her father, that she wanted to do it, or was it again because of the issue with the fireflies? So it could be a multitude of things as to why.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because it just seemed like, okay, like, if you had a garage or something, like, I'm not moving in the garage. I'm standing here where the power is, and it's not cold 24/7. So
Mm-hmm.
um
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both of those because
yeah,
it's like, like Joel's used to being a dad. Like, and I feel like at that time, like, having a family is really like important,
yeah,
sometimes when he before any of this happens. So he, I guess, maybe is prepared enough to be like, okay, this is time to be a dad now. When she doesn't have parents, like she
right,
never grew up, with parents and somebody telling her what to do. So it could be just like a little bit of backlash with that. Maybe she doesn't like being told what to do, and it could be how he was acting because he was acting a little bit controlling, maybe even a little bit like you're gay, like
yeah.
type
You're like,
thing.
oh, yeah,
Like be a little bit weird with that a little bit. So, I could totally see why she maybe was considering moving out. But, he does do like when she was about to do it, he's like, okay, let me fix it up. He just wants to do things to make like he wants to do it to make her happy, even if it means just like moving her in the
right.
garage where she can have her own privacy. And I think at this point, was she 19?
No, she was 19. She had to be like about 17 because 16 was the year before.
That's right. Okay, because he said, "Oh, she's 17." By the way. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yeah, at 17, I could see maybe you
Like
want to
I'm
be
19. I
moved
was like,
out. Yeah.
there's a weird period between not 18, like 16 to 17, like what your gap of age needs to be for it not to be weird. And I
Yeah.
and I don't think 19 is quite whatever, you know what I mean? I don't think it's weird. But also why are you pursuing? Yeah, it's a whole nother conversation. But in this case, I don't think it was weird. And that was the kind of what they were going with here when Joel was like, she's 17. It's like, I'm 19. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, no, I'm not doing nothing weird. Um,
Yeah.
and what were you about to say?
No. No. Nothing.
Oh, okay.
That was great.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, getting the tattoo, they set up, moving into the garage. Joel has a conversation with Ellie about, him getting it, getting the tattoo, wanting the why you did what you did with the burn. Pretty much, I think this is also a scene of him like just accepting, like he didn't care about her being gay or whatever the case might have been. He just wanted to be with her, spend time with her. As they kind of build that more, that doesn't care about any of that. He understands like she needs space. He's going to set up the space for her in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, building, like I said earlier, building those character between the two, and also a father-daughter relationship, because you're starting to see that now, because you're
Yeah.
starting to kind of see through the phases. What part of this you feel like really kind of like hits you like emotionally, like as they're going through that conversation before she moves into the garage?
I mean, honestly, it's like, see, I don't know if it's because it's Pedro Pascal, but I feel like there's a lot of moments here where she's like yelling at him and he just has like those eyes that just
Yeah.
look sad.
Like,
like
okay,
puppy dog
sorry.
eyes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I'm just like, I feel so bad. Like I kind of like don't like Ellie yelling at him.
I don't either. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we all, we grew up in two households that probably wouldn't have allowed, any type of behavior like that.
Yeah, absolutely not. No. If I yelled at my dad like that, he would, bitch,
Oh
what you
yeah,
talking about?
it's a whole hospital visit. Yeah.
Yeah, like no. He'd be like, hell no. Friggin' but yeah, I think it's like yeah, I think a lot of it comes from the acting. Like
Yeah.
where you see like you definitely see their division and stuff like that from her end. You see like the desire to be on her own and stuff
Right.
like that to establish herself as her own person and her own identity. Um and then you just see him trying to be like the good dad and
Yeah.
he's dealing with a teenager that's doesn't want anything to do with him at this point. So yeah, I think they both did good.
You are again absolutely right. Pedro does a really good job of emoting with his face without really saying anything and
Yeah.
reacting to what somebody said and really selling, like you said, like Ellie screaming at him and saying really hurtful stuff to him because it's like, damn,
Yeah.
I did all this for you, XYZ, I know
Or
you're not.
even like cute things too. Like when he was in the spaceship and he was like looking at Ellie, I'm like, oh my god, I wish he would look at me like that. What?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Just again holding on to this moments because again I feel like and I want to say this again because I didn't think of this until just now. Joel is now reliving those moments further than where his actual daughter got. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So this is also a first for him. That's something I didn't think of again until just now. This is also a first
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't know what the heck to do because his daughter died prior to that.
Yeah.
Uh, so that definitely makes it hit a lot harder for me again thinking about that, like, oh man, he didn't get to see his daughter, get to this age. He's seeing that through Ellie or trying to replicate that through Ellie. And it just, yeah, just like I said, just really, again, really touches you. Like I said, the level of acting between them two is phenomenal throughout this episode. Feel how you want to feel, but you can't
Yeah.
the acting wasn't good. In this, like I said, I feel like this makes or breaks the entire show, this entire season to me, like because you have to really sell Joel dying, because like I said, we didn't get to really spend too much of it at the beginning because it happened so fast. We finally again jump forward. We see Joel and Ellie go on their first patrol. This is where it gets interesting. This is where we start to walk two different paths here.
Yeah.
Joel, but we see, it starts off real nice, Joel kind of being playful about, where to look, and she's feeling too grown to have to do the slow stuff and the important stuff, which I feel like she kind of gets the importance of now, because you see how she reacts to certain things as she does it. As they're going through the patrol, we finally meet Eugene.
Finally.
And
His actor is so familiar. I don't know who it was, but I'm like, oh my god, it was bothering me to the point where I was like, I wonder who he is, but he looks so familiar.
I have seen him in everything either, and of course, like it's not gonna be quite up on IMDb by the time we get. It's probably like after the fact that this airs. But yeah, he's in everything. He's definitely in everything. We see finally meet Eugene. I thought I was crazy. I'm like, was he in the first season? I'm like, no, we just didn't see him.
Yeah,
So, no. We just never saw Eugene. Not realizing there was more to this story than Joel shooting her husband. You know what I mean? Like, when we first meet Gail, she's mad, and we knew that Joel killed him, but we assume it was it was under good terms. Yeah, I wouldn't say good terms, but he had to do it because he had to do it, or there was maybe a conflict of some sort, maybe, but we didn't know exactly like the reason behind it. We kind of get this whole, Eugene wants to see Gail one last time, take me to the gate, let me say my goodbye. I don't know, man, you might turn. Jackson clearly has a strict policy on ask questions later. It's like, no, don't even take chances. And look, Joel's just telling them the policy. You know what I mean? Like I got to do what I got to do. And of course, Ellie, wants to see him give this guy a chance to say goodbye. Everybody
Yeah.
should that. She tests him, hit him with the 1, 2, 3, count to 10. Is this guy going to turn?
Yeah.
And of course, Joel promises to tell Ellie that she's going to take him back, go get them horses, and she looks at him, and again, how good the acting is here. She looks at him, and that she knows he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she knows.
Like, come on, man, you promised, right?
It's like a tell when she knows that he's lying, which we see later too, because that's how she figures the rest of the stuff out.
Nuts. Yeah. It's just like, and then of course, we knew my man Joel was going to do it. He's going to take Eugene out back like a dog to the cliff, and put him down. He shoots Eugene, and then of course, I thought the whole conversation between Joel and Eugene was cool too, because it's like, man, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah,
I can't take no chances. But of course, that's not what this scene's about. Eugene's begging for his life. He's like, "Oh, go ahead and do what you gotta do." And of course, he finally shoots him. That's a long time. They probably could have got back by that point. And he could have said his goodbye. They probably would have shot him at the gate, but of course, that would have changed the entire narrative of the story.
Yeah.
What did you think about that whole thing about like Eugene, the exchange between Eugene and Joel, and kind of seeing again how hard of a character Joel is? Like, do you feel like you would have liked to have seen Joel give him that chance?
Yeah, I think so. I know we talked about it like a little bit when we were watching the episode, but yeah, I do like. I think Ellie was right to be upset at this, because it's like, I get what to say, like, I get his point, like, so he doesn't turn and risk everybody.
Yeah.
Like, let's kill him and not risk that chance. But I'm like, don't lie to him. Don't be like, yeah, I'm gonna take you to go see your wife, and then surprise,
he knew what it was.
We're not there. Yeah. we're not seeing your wife. Like, the man's already dying. Like, he already know what's up.
What was the distance? Like, I don't know. They weren't too far out, but like,
yeah,
how far? I mean, like, how much time could they have risked? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the question. Like, so it's.
I feel like it's just the lying thing that bothers me. Like, if you're gonna kill them, that's the intention. Then just kill them. Like, don't be like, okay, yeah, let's go see your wife. Come on.
Like Joel's half right. Ellie is half right in the situation.
Absolutely.
But obviously, like you said, like this was to show and confirm what Ellie already knew.
Yeah. Like, it's a plot point for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, he shoots Eugene. They drag his ass back. At least they had the thing built up under him. I thought about that. I thought that was nice. They built whatever that thing is so they could easily carry the body. So he's not getting beat the hell up while on horseback.
Mm-hmm. Not doing the Red Dead. You just drag him behind you.
They finally get back to Jackson. And Joel lies to Gail about what happened. Selling her the version they want to hear. And Ellie blows the fuck up, calling him out in front of Gail. And again, the emoting is crazy because he's just like shocked, like that she did that. And reveals everything. Like, hey, still that's not what happened. He said he wanted to come back. Joel told him he was going to come back, and he shot him anyway, making this guy look like an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Ellie also is upset too, because I know, like, when they were talking, like, on the way, when they were on their patrol, when something bad happened, he was like, "Oh, go back," and she's like, "No, I'm your partner. We're doing this together." Yeah. So it's like, okay, now you're lying to them when it's like, okay, we're supposed to be on the same level here because we're partners. She
said, "I'm not your daughter. I'm your partner. Yeah. I'm not. You don't have to worry about me. I'm my own, individual. I got this." Like,
yeah, exactly. And he didn't do the thing.
They shot Eugene, man. He just wanted one more chance.
Yeah, he just wanted one more chance to see his wife.
Man, forget Eugene. He's selfish. um, and then again, Ellie pretty much, says to him like, "Hey, look, you had that same look on your face when you told me back in so and so like that, everything was good. That I knew you were lying then. I knew you're lying now."
Yeah, and I
And
think
then
this is when they stop officially talking. Like, I think this is
yeah,
like the straw that broke the camel's back.
that was the moment that, like you said, her confirming that. Oh, it is not quite confirmed here, but she's basically spelling it out like, "Hey, this is the same XYZ." And then, like I said, this is a tough scene to watch. I think too, like just the whole confrontation between them two. Oh, I'm sorry, her shooting at him and him eating it. I mean, you don't got nothing to say. I mean, you knew it was fucked up. I mean, you knew it was wrong. There's nothing to say here. So it was a tough watch, but it had to happen. And I forgot to mention too. I think before they had gone on patrol, Ellie is was plotting prior to this to confront Joel about
it.
Talking about getting to talk about it again.
Yeah, like asking him questions and stuff like that, preparing beforehand. I like
Yeah.
that. That's actually a really healthy way to writing stuff out, and if you're dealing with a tough conversation.
Do like a mock trial of how you think it's going to go, and it's always
Yeah. I think that's a pretty healthy way to do
maybe
that.
I should start doing it. I don't know. I feel like I'm always like, let me just jump into it and consequences later. Like,
Yeah, think about your decision. Think about what
yeah,
you're
I
about to do
probably
and say before you do them.
yeah, I should do better. After we have that whole scene, after the Eugene reveal, finally, after 5-6 episodes, we jump back to, of course, Ellie and Joel aren't talking. We're 9 months after that incident. We're now back at the Jackson party, and we're getting it from a different perspective. We're getting it from Joel's point of view at this point. And now we know why, hasn't been talking. Everybody's like, "What's going on with you and Joel? What's going on with you and Joel?" Like, and they're both kind of planning. Like, did she say something? No, did you say something? So, Gail already kind of knew there was like some tension between them, because that's her job. And she gets paid in weed.
Honestly, I wish.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to find. Like, hey, is this gonna turn me, or is this gonna make me feel good? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm not messing with nothing grown from the ground at this point. Like, I can't trust nothing. But yeah, we're back at the party. We see the scene where Ellie is and Adina are confronted by, man, what is his name? They said it like 40 times.
I forgot.
They
Law
got,
and
yeah.
Order SVU guy. That's the only thing I know.
But yeah, we get the scene where he confronts them, and he's throwing out slurs, and Joel comes in from his point of view and like pushes him down. Ellie rips him in front of everybody in the crowd, getting awkward as hell.
Oh, so sad. His eyes.
But we of course know why. We know why. She's feeling the way she feels. He's trying to find a way to get back into her good graces. And then we jump back to the house, and we see Joel on the porch, because we get the scene earlier, but I think they sell it as like she just kind of walks past.
Yeah.
Or she did walk past, and then they kind of rewind the clock, and we see that she came back after Joel was sitting on the and now is as good as time as any to get your feelings out and say what you need to say, because this is where I think man, this is crazy. I think this is like where everything kind of just hits me. Like, I was already kind of building,
Same.
and then it's like release.
Yeah.
And we get Ellie asking Joel straight up, like, "Hey man, like, is what happened, say what you said happened?" And he pretty much without say anything, because you could tell it still hurts to even admit this. He just kind of nods his head and just it answers her truthfully to everything. And
Yeah.
again,
So good.
we get a scene where Ellie kind of explains her reason for why, why the lie hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And saying again what I've been saying earlier, her feeling like she was supposed to sacrifice herself for the world. She's taken away a possible cure for the world. And feeling like she shouldn't be alive, like she doesn't deserve this. Because while everybody continues to suffer when she's the cure the whole time, which is
Yeah.
potentially occurring, and Joel killed the only possible person that would even be able to um, save humanity at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
she thinks her life also does, like, that's one thing she said, like, my life, it was supposed to mean something. So there could even be like a little bit of like self like self-hate or something like that on her end, like, because she's like, maybe her life doesn't have meaning right now,
right,
so, and he took the only self-worth from her
yeah,
away, which would have been a cure. So yeah.
you wouldn't have known, you wouldn't have. And I think too that's one of the reasons why Joel is asking about Dina, how she feels about Dina. I
Yeah.
think to kind of tell her, like, almost like you wouldn't have this, if you were dead, giving her a reason to want to live. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which is also, I think, why too. Like he's trying to provide these experiences to her as well, giving her more reason. Like so, about it, if the secret ever came out, which it does, it'd be like, oh, hey, you lied to me, but I got to do this. Thank you. I think that's what he's kind of reaching for as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell, like, man, they're crying. They're both wiping tears. I'm wiping tears.
Yeah.
They're kind of going back and forth, and she's getting the answers that we already know as the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's like a lot of like, there's a lot of foreshadowing in this conversation too, because he's like, oh, you're gonna walk away from me forever. Kind of like foreshadowing his death even in
Yeah,
some of these comments, and Ellie having a kid, like you have a kid of your own. So it's like a good thing. Look at a lot of good stuff that's happening.
yeah. And
Yeah.
in the end of this conversation, Joel speaks the line that his father says to him, like, "Hey, man, if you do a little bit better than I did, we'd be good if you ever
Mm-hmm.
had children. Well, yeah, you have to care for somebody."
Yeah.
We again we get a little reason why Joel is the way he is, why he kind of treats her the way that he does. Not to say that
Yeah.
he beat his daughter or anything like that, but yeah, like, but why he is the way he is when it comes to that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, this was crazy watch.
Yeah.
Think that I think that having Ellie showing that Ellie came back and they killed it, like they they ended their beef, they reconciled, makes that hit a lot harder. Because
Yeah.
I feel like if she was just pissed off or whatever about that whole situation, he died, and they're like, okay, you still feel guilty, but now she wanted to try, she wanted to see where it was going to go, actually build this life. And that was taken, now that was taken away from her by an outside force, and that outside force has justified reason to do it, but so what? This, you kind of don't care. Where again, like I've said before, you start to see a little bit more of Joel and Ellie, um,
Mm-hmm.
and how far she's willing to go, and why she's doing what she does, what she's doing. Just that whole thing as a whole, like the scene of them confessing to each other. Uh,
Yeah.
what like, did that? Did that really sell you? Like right there, like, okay, man, it's pretty good. Because like I said, this is the best episode in the this season so far to me.
Yeah, no, I think this whole episode sold me. I mean, especially the ending part, I think sold me too. I really like I said, I liked all the acting in it. I thought everybody was emotional. I thought everyone was really, really great. And I like the themes of this episode, the themes of being a parent and kind of like doing, and I think that's what every parent wants is to, do better for your kids, and then have them do better too when they have their own kids, which is what I feel like what a parent wants to bestow onto them, the knowledge that they want to pass on to them. So I just
Yeah,
thought it was all good. I like, seeing them interact. And I feel like that's something that we always wanted to see was their life before any of this happened.
Yeah.
So, and I do like this scene too, because this is a scene that's they also rearranged this because I think this scene happens like the last final scene when they're on the porch. That happens at the end of the game when you see their
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. You're
Mhm.
definitely right. I wonder why they decided to push that up a little bit. I guess because of what I was saying earlier. Like but they set that up. They set up like the flashback at the end of the last episode. So I guess their intention was to do it, or because I really think this is gonna go first part Ellie, second part Abby,
I think so too.
or
Yeah.
or maybe back and forth between it. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's absolutely where it's gonna go.
Mm.
We'll see.
Yeah. Like I said, this episode hit for so many reasons. Getting the Eugene reveal, finding out that Joe and Ellie didn't have no beef by the time that Joel gets killed. Kind of like I said, just makes it this just sucks because she basically just lost her dad, and
Mhm.
she's willing to ride or die for this man at this point. I'm too
Yeah.
far in. I'm too far in. She'd already killed Tati Gabrielle.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Man, people are so cool. People are just so like desensitized to just killing other people at this point in this just this world in general. You know what I mean? Like you gotta do what you gotta do with survival, so
Yep.
either get
Absolutely.
killed by a person or yeah. But I would love to see where if this kind of takes a different route. If this is gonna, like I said, so far hasn't completely deviated from anything. Um other than like certain things like but nothing major where I think people were like too mad about it. um
Mhm.
but I think they had a lot of stuff like I said, seeing more of Joel's background, getting the confession between Ellie and Joel, getting to see um Joel and Ellie kind of experience this thing together as father and daughter. I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. Same. I
uh
totally agree.
Look, man, last was season 2, episode 6. So far I'm not hating it. Like I said, that I
No,
had my
same.
small like little whatever issues, but nothing major where I haven't honestly said I'm not enjoying the show. Pedro Pascal was as Joel, man. What do you guys want? Uh,
Mhm. Uncle Grumpy. I like when the nephew called him Uncle Grumpy.
he did. That was
That's
hilarious.
that's really cute.
Yeah. Again, getting to see his this life of family and everything. Getting to see a lighter side of Joel outside of the smuggler that we know him to be now. Like take no chances, put him down. Do what you
Mhm.
got to do. We see this other side of Joel, which I really appreciate. Um, but yeah, episode 6, like I said, fantastic episode. I can't say enough about it. I'm pretty sure this is going to get like really good reviews down the board outside of us.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was a fantastic episode. I talked about it enough. Did you have anything that you had about it that you wanted to say that I missed?
Yeah, no, I think we really did hit all the points. I thought this episode was fantastic. I
It's
loved it.
fantastic. Thumbs up.
I liked it. Thumbs up. 10 out of 10. I think it was really
Yeah,
good. And I miss Uncle Grumpy. So yeah. Hopefully you see him
yeah.
again.
Come back, Pedro. Come back. Uh,
Flashback
uh,
scenes.
yeah. Hopefully he filmed like a bunch of it.
Yeah. He's gonna be
um,
a dad somewhere else.
yeah.
We'll see
Um,
him again.
so it's been episode 6 of The Last of Us season 2. Again, we appreciate you guys for sticking with us through the season so far. Definitely been appreciating the comments. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Like I said, we try not to make these longer than the actual episode. So thank you for staying 50 whatever minutes this is.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, if you feel the same way that we did, or if you have a difference of opinion, we would love to read it in the comments. And and discuss it next time we get to talk about more Last of Us, because we got more in the season coming. We definitely got more. So
Yeah.
as you guys already know how they're setting up the parts for the show, so we're gonna be talking about Last of Us for a while.
Yeah, oh,
But
yeah.
fantastic episode. I can't wait to see this again. I've got nothing else to say. Do you?
No, we're all good here.
All right, well, we're out of here. See you guys. Hopefully next time for more Last of Us. See you.
Yes.
I